This is my third trip to Teen Challenge looking for the Dimensions cross stitch from that estate sale where I got stuck in the mud. On our last trip, the stairs were chained off, so I couldn't get upstairs to see where they keep the framed artwork. I was on my way through town and thought I'd stop and take a peek. I always feel uncomfortable up here. That ceiling, we have, I think, 7-foot ceilings in our old farmhouse, and this ceiling feels so low even compared to that. It's just this cavernous room with an uneven floor and a low ceiling, and usually there is no one else up here. I'll be honest, it gives me the creeps. This is my third trip to this thrift shop, which is the one that I believe the leftovers from that estate sale wound up at. They said Teen Challenge was going to pick everything up, and this is the closest Teen Challenge to that house, so seems likely that it would have wound up here. It kind of puzzles me. Their toy section is in the farthest corner of upstairs. I don't know quite why they would put it there, and I wasn't curious enough to go pick my way through all of the medical equipment to go see what was over there. The last time I was here, I forgot my camera, which absolutely stinks because they had one of those late 70s, early 80s waterbed with the massive dark wooden canopy. My oldest son would have loved it. His whole future house is apparently going to be furnished with that old heavy wood, and I don't mind the old heavy wood. It's got its place, I guess. I found the framed artwork. They had it behind a blockade of tables and kitchen sets because why would they want to let anyone get close enough to actually look and see what they had there? I did manage to squeeze my way in just barely. And there, hidden behind a box was this really pretty still life. But that was the only pretty piece of artwork they had, and I poked around enough to convince myself that there was only one piece of framed counted cross stitch, and I don't think that came from the estate sale that I'm trying to track down the leftovers of. Or maybe it did. None of the Dimensions kits were here. But I'm happy that I went. I'm happy that I satisfied my curiosity. This is probably going to be my last attempt at finding it, at this shop at least. I've been to the Teen Challenge in Albany 3 times now, picked up a Hutch that my daughter found and fell in love with that was again that old 70s heavy wooden, except when we went to load it into the car, it turned out it was molded plastic that was shaped and painted to look amazingly realistic. We didn't have a clue until we picked it up that it was plastic. Really cute little toddler sleigh bed, but oh my gosh, they wanted $50 for it. I don't have toddlers anyway, so I don't know why. I was looking at the price. That is just so much prettier than the red metal thing that my own kids had. I didn't get any footage downstairs because there really wasn't anything that hadn't been there on our previous trip that was worth taking pretty pictures of. So we moved on to Salem, where I found this chair that it's pretty from a distance, but up close, that is floral printed burlap. It's softer than the stuff we use for crafting, but not by much, and it is that open, loose burlap weave, so I do not understand why anyone would do that. This is like a timeline of chairs. There's that black and white streaked 80s thing, and then these two that I'm not going to guess at. I love these chairs with the landscapes printed on them. I don't know why. Someone somewhere in my childhood must have had one, but I can't think of who. They just always grab my attention, and this is such a gaudy floral next to it. I've never seen so many wildly different chairs in the same place. Love this trio of little lamps, especially this one in the back that you can barely make out. He is serenading the lady on his bagpipes. This is my third time at recording the audio, or fourth or fifth, I don't know. Somehow yesterday I had it all done, but it didn't save properly. So I'm trying again today, and I've come down with a horrible cold since then. I apologize if my voice is not consistent from the first half to the second half. I did flip through all of their framed pieces. There was no counted cross stitch or needlework or anything exciting at all, just a lot of mass produced stuff, which is probably what the vast majority of the framed stuff I find at these shops is. This otter was cute from a distance, but up close, it's something about its face just did not look like an otter. It's not quite as creepy looking here in the video as it was yesterday in real life. Always going through the bric-a-brac. That was a cute little basket. That's probably vintage. And I paused to look at the coconut purse. Did not even see what is just past my hand. It's another cute little oil lamp like the one I found at Gleaner's a few months ago. That one was a spinning wheel and this one was a fireplace. It's probably a good thing that I didn't notice it because it is so cute and my already crowded mantle doesn't need any more cuteness like that. I have lots of functional oil lamps and I'm always looking at those, but I don't think I need pretend oil lamps without shades. This was sparkly beads on safety pins, a more updated version of the stuff that my great grandma used to do when I was little. I was really tempted by this doll. She looks just the style of her face. I think she was an older piece and I kind of wanted to bring her home and try to see if I could clean her up and make her a better outfit, but she was in such rough shape that I didn't know if I could salvage her, and I don't know what I would do with her if I did salvage her, so I left her behind. And now I feel bad about that. Not really, but lost dolls are sad. I had the same little treehouse, dollhouse thing when I was growing up. I can't remember the name of it. And this one is missing the room dividers, and they had the graphics that made it so neat. There was an elevator in the tree trunk, and it had a little doghouse that was separate and shaped like a bush and a family and furniture, and mine is probably still in the attic somewhere. Here's a super blinged out chameleon to hang on the wall if you're in the market for one of those. And lots of wooden stuff. It occurred to me when I saw this that instead of drooling over those Norman Rockwell collector plates, maybe I should be looking for mugs because I could totally justify bringing one of those home if I found one with a scene that appealed to me. They had 5 different sets of plates, all with birthday cakes on them, all for I think $3.99 a plate. So I'm not sure who's going to be excited enough to buy those. Definitely not me. And you can tell here I swung back to look at that Corelle with the quilt block image on it. I don't like Corelle. It's something about the texture of it I just cannot stand. I don't know why. It's one of those weird irrational things. Because we were out and about and had enough time, we stopped at one of the Goodwills that we rarely get to. I am going to regret walking away from this couch probably. It is exactly the shape and style that we are looking for. It was dirt cheap. It was $25 and then half off of that. And I think the matching love seat was $24 and also half off. It really clean for a Goodwill couch. It definitely showed that it was kind of banged up and battered and showing its age. But the logistics of getting my husband back up there to look at it and then getting them home if he did like them, I decided it's better just to try to forget I ever saw them in the first place. We'll keep going with the couch we have for a while longer. And then over here is a piece that I thought at first was needlework. It's got all the stitchy details, except when you look at it super closely, you can tell that that is just a printed image there behind the glass. I could not figure out this latch hook piece until after I got home. I knew in the store that those 3 black splotches probably had to be eyes and a nose, and that maybe it was an animal, but I twisted it and turned it, and once I got home I figured out that there at that angle it's an animal with little rosy cheeks and a pink tongue and a stocking cap, but there in the store I could not figure it out for the life of me. My youngest son found this Monopoly cash grab game. Apparently you load it with all of the Monopoly money and cards and spray them across the room. I'd never heard of this game or seen a commercial for it, and they had 5 or 6 of them at the store, still all in their original packaging. So I'm guessing that maybe that wasn't a hit. Here's a reproduction sad iron. They had it priced far higher than I think I paid for any of my actual antique ones. A really pretty blue glass bowl with shells embellishing it. I don't know, maybe on a coffee table in a seaside house. If I was ever going to buy a cornucopia, this would be the one. It looks like a ram's horn. It's the coolest one I have seen in all of the cornucopias that my middle son has held up to show me or ambushed me with. And he wasn't with me today to see this one. They had a whole ton of souvenir plates from different states. And you could almost go down this aisle and guess what things came from the same house. I think I've given up on looking for the needlework at the Teen Challenge thrift shops. We know that I'll be back to them because, of course I will. They're in the area where I live. And I will let you know if I find any of the needlework, but I have definitely given up hope that that will happen. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Michelle from Michelle's Romantic Tangle, and I'll be back with you again soon with more videos.